This is the new LUXX Control Air from Selkirk, and it might be the best looking paddle of 2023. This thing is the best paddle ever. The ultimate control paddle. It produces so much spin, it makes politicians jealous. In fact, it produces so much spin, if you added detergent, you could probably wash your clothes. It's so buttery. You could probably eat it with your toast. It's so soft, those Charmin bears might be out of a job. Okay, is he gone? Now that he's gone, I can tell you how I really feel. But in all seriousness, disclaimer, I am an employee of Selkirk, so take what I say in this review with a grain of salt. If you don't hear from me after the publication of this video, just know that I would never do anything to put myself in any danger. And contact Chris from the Pickleball Studio. He'll know what to do. All right, don't forget to like, comment, and sub to the channel. It increases my chances of survivability. Okay, back to the LUXX Control Air. Much like how the Power Air was birthed from the Project Labs 002, the Control Air is the heir, no pun intended, to the pretty popular and well-received Project Labs 003 paddle. I'm going to tell you right now that there is not a whole lot different between this and the Project 003 paddle. It essentially builds upon the success of the Project 003, which was already a great control paddle in its own right, and makes some minor but very important improvements. And when I say improvements, it's really just one, because the rest of it essentially stayed the same from a performance standpoint at least. And that one improvement is the power. Yes, I'm first talking about the power of a control paddle. The irony, I know. I just want to get this out of the way before anyone jumps to conclusions, okay? This paddle is a control paddle that has ample power. Ample power. If any of you had experience with the Project 003, you will know that the main complaint was that it lacked put-away power. Honestly, it wasn't anything that some additional weight couldn't solve, but Selkirk went ahead and distributed the weight a bit and increased the swing weight ever so slightly and stiffened up the paddle to give it just a bit of extra pop. It essentially feels the same on contact with the ball as the 003, but now you can swing a bit harder and the ball will fly just a bit faster and further. However, don't expect it to work miracles. If you don't swing or snap at the ball at the no volley zone, the pop on this paddle is fairly low, at least when compared to a lot of the other high performance paddles you might see on the market right now. So if you are looking for flicks and punch volleys that fly really fast, you probably have better options out there. I'd probably go with the Power Air or almost any other thermoform unibody paddle out there if those quick, sharp attacks and counters at the kitchen line is what you like to do, or if it's the only thing you know how to do. That's right, I'm talking about you. You know who you are. Now, that's not to say it can't do those things. The Control Air gets nowhere near the same amount of pop that you get from the Power Air, but still hits harder than the Vanguard 2.0 in my opinion. Speaking of the Vanguard 2.0, which is known for its soft touch, the LUXX Control also has incredible touch and feel, as it should, since it's a control focused paddle. This is from a combination of its thick set core and the Floric carbon fiber face. Can I just take a moment to say that there's a lot of jargon thrown out there in the industry and in paddles in general. The thick set core is essentially just a 20mm core, and Floric is... I work for Selkirk, and even I don't know what that is. So what it is, after reading some of the marketing material, is most likely some proprietary blend of carbon fiber that's layered in a certain way. It's more or less just a name and a marketing term. Now, back to how the LUXX Control feels. The word I would describe it is plush, but maybe springy. It's quite a soft feeling paddle, probably one of the softest thermoform unibody paddles out there. It's definitely in the same tier as the Vatic Prisms, the Scorpius 16, maybe the Carbon 3X, and 11's Zenith series of paddles. All the paddles I just mentioned are really good at resetting and really good at softening and absorbing shots. And the LUXX Control might be the best out of them in that particular category, along with the Scorpius 16mm. I've never had so much confidence with half volleys and drops as I do with the LUXX Control Air. It is buttery.
I can't believe it's not bother.
My theory on how Selkirk achieved this combination of touch with ample power is that the thick core helps absorb a lot of the impact of incoming balls when you just kind of block the ball and put your hand there, you know, but they stiffen the throat area so that if you do decide to swing at the ball, that energy gets transferred to your shot. And of course, the higher swing weight of the paddle probably helps as well. Now, this combination really makes the transition of playing soft and slow to hard and fast really seamless and makes the Control Air a very forgiving paddle, but also a great control paddle. And here's the thing, right? Control can be subjective, and many players out there, myself included, would tell you that control paddles play softer and more plush, which the LUXX definitely leans into. However, control is essentially the ability to manipulate the ball to get your desired outcome, such as changing the pace and the direction of the ball effortlessly. With the LUXX, you can really go from hitting hard and swinging fast to resetting and slowing down the ball with ease. Blocks, drops, and dinks feel precise and accurate. It's honestly where the LUXX shines, but transitioning into the soft game is also quite easy with the Control Air. Drives from the baseline and midcourt are pretty good. Spin is exceptional with this paddle, and you can really shape the ball well with this paddle. If you like to do heavy arcing serves, you won't have issues with the Control Air, although I can tell I wish I had a bit more power coming from my drives and serves sometimes. You definitely won't be feeling like you have inadequate spin, although I found that I had to lift from under the ball just a bit more with this paddle to get the most RPMs out of it. The LUXX Control Air also still uses a spray-on type of grit paint coating that is very similar to the Power Air. So if you had issues in the past with the Power Air with the surface, the texture kind of rubbing off really quickly, maybe the Control Air may not be, you know, the best for you. Although I think because it's a little bit softer that the grit paint, right, and the coating will probably stay on just a little bit longer. I used to play with the Power Air and I honestly didn't have too many issues with it, but there are people out there that do complain and say that the coating rubs off rather quickly. And I mean, it's just kind of par for the course with this type of texture, and it's to be expected. And honestly, you know, your mileage may vary depending on how often you play and how hard you hit. So is it dope or nope? Well, I'm gonna say it's dope-ish. It could have honestly have been in the nope category, to be quite frank. And the only reason I say that is because it's just not that different from the Project Labs 003, you know, with the new paint job. But that paint job though is sweet and pushed it into the dope side of the spectrum. The LUXX Control Air just might be the best looking paddle of 2023. I think this is going to be a very popular paddle for most players, and definitely a paddle I could easily recommend if the $250 price tag isn't an issue for you. I think if I added just a bit more weight to the paddle, I could probably make this my daily driver. And if I did add weight to it, it would probably be around the 3 and 9 o'clock positions of the paddle, just to give it some more stability, because what I do like about it is that it is fast and it is maneuverable. All right, that's all I got. Till next time, play better. Peace. Whew.